only goes over a tenth of a second fast.
Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to round two. Well, not round two. Test race 2 here of Formula Trout of the Premier. That was slick. The Premier Series. I'm your commentator for today, Angel Revelo, and I think today, sadly, I am just alone for this race. So maybe someone will join me a little later on, but I think today I'm just on my own. I'm the only voice you'll be hearing today. But today we are here at Spa-Francorchamps. I probably butchered that pronunciation. Here for test race 2. I think we have around 19, 20 drivers registered last I checked this morning. So I think we should have a few faces from last test race. And a few new faces as well. And I'm just checking up, and you may hear me stuttering and going like a bit. That's just because I'm trying to keep track of messages and obviously make sure everything's running smoothly as well alongside commentating. Small team, so I'm trying to help out too. And this is a test race, so we're just trying to see if everything's running smoothly. Yep, I think we're just waiting currently for the server to restart. If I look right now, I think it should have actually started. And now, yeah, I think it has. We'll load into that, but very exciting. One more test race before, in just 2 weeks' time, the first round of the season at Bahrain begins. That's going to be exciting. Cody Lawrence, I know, is here this weekend. We know he's not racing for Junior GP next season. That's going to be Nico Boston and Thomas Riviere, who should also be in this test race. They will be driving for Young GP, the reigning champs. Cody Lawrence moves somewhere mysterious. We do not know where, but he's moving to a different team. But yeah, as we wait to join the server and see what these folks are doing in practice, still using the VRC Formula Alpha 2020. And Formula Alpha 2025. I just got a message, or my brain just shut down for a second there. And this should be a bit more interesting. A few more drivers in this race session from what it seems, as I load into practice here, seeing if everything's up to spec for the broadcast. I think not everyone's in the server yet, but we should get everyone by the time qualifying starts. I'll look at the registry list one more time. Around 20 people registered. There might be some no-shows and such, but this still should be a pretty full grid for today for the final test race before we get ready for the real thing in just around 2 weeks' time. Oh, it's crashed the wall. He's ready, as it's only 10 minutes left in practice, so I guess we'll go look at that as I almost dropped my microphone. Here to Assetto Corsa to watch some people go around in cars. Here we're watching Malone. First name, I wouldn't know, but watch him come around the track. I still want to test some few things. That's Ari Maltova in front of them. And third, currently in practice. I don't think practice times are going to matter that much. I think it's just people just getting up to grips, making sure their wheels work. Making sure they have 95 liters in the car. So hopefully no one runs out of fuel. With the someone behind him biting the dust. Yep, that's Malone into the grass. I think he doesn't have a first name. I don't think he has his first name set correctly in the game, so I only see his last name. Tom Saberi wasn't here last race, but he is here. Signed to a Younger GP this season for season 13, so already has a seat guaranteed for the first race and hopefully the rest of the season. But yeah, here he is, about to set a time as a Dr. Wolf. Obviously, no real names just yet. Obviously, a test race, so registration is not as strict when it comes to these names and such. But once we are coming to the line, it's going to set a 1:45.2. Definitely going to see times faster than that in qualifying. See some names: Godfrey, Mark Levine, Nico Bossert. And Nico Bossert, let's actually talk about this guy. Assigned once again to Younger GP, the team he won the championship for last season, season 12. And yeah, of course, rear reigning champion here on the test race too. Wasn't here in the first test race, but is here again currently in 5th. I don't think these are very representative times, but in 5th right now, just going around the track, getting some practice laps in for this test race. C3 tires currently. We'll see how he does in practice finishes, and we can get into qualifying. And sadly, of course, I'm all alone, so I don't really have anyone to go back and forth with today, so I'm just going to have to try my hardest to make an interesting conversation by myself. But with around 7 minutes left to go in practice, it is just watching a few of these cars go around. And, you know, just get some times in, have some fun. Here we go. Wolf in first right now, 140. He is on C4, so he's on some harder tires. Nope, softer tires. No, I said harder. He's on some softer tires. Roughly comparable to softs in real life. Not super soft softs. He's just coming around the track once again. We're on board with this very detailed RSS car. I think he's going to start a lap right now. I think he might be doing some quality runs just to practice, so maybe his times are a bit more representative. Maybe Cody Lawrence as well. He's pretty close. Look at Cody Lawrence. He's on the C4s as well. 41.5, and he is on. So I think these guys are both just doing some quality runs. Maybe not at full pace, you know, full energy deployed, but they're going around the track much faster than some other guys with the tires they're on. Cody Lawrence was in the championship battle last season in season 12 with Younger against his teammate Nico Bossert in the Younger GP team. Obviously, he swapped now his seat for another team. Unknown team as of right now. But he will not be driving for the team he competed with last season in Formula Trout. Whole new venture for the vice champion of last season. And the previous season's winner, the season 11 champion. So we'll just have to wait and see if Cody Lawrence, the new team, can bring the fight and bring the pace to people like Nico Bossert and Tom Saberi, who definitely be up at the top. And maybe some new faces we'll see this season who can also fight at the top as well. And Giovanni Amorum, he was in the bag racing team, if I remember correctly. Ooh, that's a person weaving a lot in front of him. Steven Jemer trying to get his tires up the temp. C4s. C4s for Amorum 2. Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was a bag motorsports driver before this season. So, obviously, a lot of the seats besides the reigning champions haven't been confirmed, so we'll still have to figure out where he is to go this season. And I was correct. He was a bag motorsports driver last season. He was around P12, P11, if I remember correctly, he finished. So just right outside the top 10. So he's going to want to make an improvement on that standing at season's end this season. But as we he's a bit farther back though time-wise. Again, I don't think these practice laps are really representative, but he's going to set a decent lap. A bit squirmy there at the final corner. Goes to a 45.4. There we go. Yes, Cody Lawrence, I think, is on a in lap. I think he's already set his lap. Behind him is Amorum again. Behind him is Beamer Engineer, who's Beamer NG. He's also on a lap. So let's see what this guy can set. Oh, as it goes a bit wide into the gravel, it spins out. 2 minutes left to go in the session. Seemed like an all-right lap for the rookie this season, but it seems he's going to go back to pits. Seems like a lot of these guys stopping on track, going back to pits. Mark Levine, P11 currently on C4s as well. So maybe C4 is not just the quality tire for today, it's also the race tire. A lot of people do seem to be on it for this session. Bossart's coming to the line. Rating champ on the C3 tire, so maybe he's on testing some race pace, an alternative strategy maybe. But as he comes to the line, he'll set a 44.4, rounded up a 44.5. So decent lap. Again, I do think he's on some race pace practice, so I don't think this is representative of any qualifying attempts from our drivers currently. And he'll have one more lap to set in his current stint before the time ends for this session. Only a 140.8 is the fastest set on some C4 tires as Wolf does go into the pits. Cody Lawrence, 41.5. I see he's still out. I think that's the rear end stepping out from Bosser right there. Cody Lawrence is in the last sector currently. Pushing as much as he can, seeing what time he can set on those C4 tires. He's coming out to the end. He's come to the end of the third sector. He's 0.01 behind his previous lap time. But as the session comes to a close, we'll watch Cody Lawrence cross the line to finish his lap. I don't think this will be an improvement for this practice lap for him, as someone's in the way. Bad time for Cody Lawrence, not able to finish that lap. There's a Warm and Beamer and G get by, and he's going to go into the pits, and that's going to be the end of his practice. The clock is hitting 0 and going into overtime so people can finish their laps. Cross the line. Nico Bossert, it's going to come set a 45 again, I think. It's a 44.1. Gets up into P5, Nico Bossert, your reigning champ here in this test race. On the harder tires, on the C3s, which is equivalent to mediums. Good on him. So yeah, that's the practice session over, and we'll wait for practice to be over. Again, here on my own sum, so I don't really have anyone to ask. Here on my lone sum, so I don't really have anyone to ask what the predictions would be. I usually leave the guesswork to someone else. Avoid the commentator's curse. I guess for me, I think it's going to be relatively tight at the top. Reigning champ Bossert, Nico Bossert is here. Cody Lawrence is here. Thomas Barberry, Steve Stevenson, Thomas Barberry. These are all guys who were in the top. These are all the top drivers from last season, and I don't expect them to lose their pace over a month and a half since the end of the Premier Series. A couple months, actually. I'm thinking sprint. So yeah, I don't expect them to lose all their pace in a couple of months. But I think those should be the top guys you'll be looking out for. This Wolf guy seems pretty quick. He has a 140.8. I think we are going to improve in that time significantly, though, in qualifying. I definitely doubt anyone was deploying their full ERS in the practice session so far. We have a few returning faces from that last test race at Barcelona. But we'll just have to wait and see, however, once this practice session finishes up, and we can move on to watching some qualifying action here at Spa. The server's still running. People are just finishing up their final laps or just going back to pits currently. But like I said, I think if I had to guess a winner, I guess Cody Lawrence. Seems quick. I'm just going off who's the highest in the leaderboard I recognize. And yeah. Yep. As I'm a bit quiet now, since I have some time in the session, I'm just trying to make sure I have things set up and all that. Maybe here going quiet every few seconds. Hope you guys like it. Yeah, as you can tell, when you don't have a co-commentator, you have to do a lot of the commentating yourself. You don't really have someone to go back and forth with, really. Yeah, I think qualifying is about to start up. Everyone's at the pit boxes besides two who I think are finishing some practice laps, but I don't think they will. I think the timer has finished. Right. Qualifying is better. Qualifying has now started. There's between the pits, and a few cars come up the pit stop. Qualifying has now officially begun. Cody Lawrence, like usual, is the first to leave the pits. Comes up Eau Rouge into Raidillon. He will be the first to do a lap here. Spa-Francorchamps. Oliver Walter follows behind him. I think behind him, Wolf, Steve Stevenson, Felipe Olsen, Botafuku, Christopher Bose, Jack Smith, Aaron Moldova. So we have a few guys from last season's Premier. We have a few guys from last season of Sprint. The Sprint Series. So this will be an interesting qualifying. See who can transfer their pace, whether it be from the Sprint Series or the Premier Series, here in this test race for a new season of the Premier Series. Cody Lawrence will be the first to set a lap here at Spa. Cody Lawrence, season 11 champ, vice champ of season 12. It's at the first lap here of Spa of this season. Obviously, we have Spa later in the calendar. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it should be one of the first, or it should be the 10th round. Or it's one of that final 3-round stretch of the calendar. That Spa will also be round 10 of the calendar. So Cody Lawrence, though, is going to be setting some laps here for the test race at that same track, as we'll come to the line and see Cody Lawrence cross the line to start a lap here at Spa. Comes into turn 1. He's pretty decent all over that curb and the apex, using all the track on the exit. Take the run down to Eau Rouge into Raidillon. Come down this main straight, DRS wide open, all the way up to 8th gear, reaching around 330 kph into 5th. Good throttle control, avoiding that curb all over the exit curb though, up into 7th, probably down into 3rd, no 4th. A slight bit wide, use the track here, over the curb and flick it back to the right, all over that curb. And all flat through Poulan. 8th gear, using all the track, but keeping it to the left for this right-left-hander. Using the exit curb, slowing down just enough for this left-hander over the exit curb, flat through this corner. That house is now gone that used to be there on the track, now on with this new Spa update. As we come through some of the final corners, totally flat into the bus stop. Now we're just brake just before the curb as you loses the carpet there, locks up through 3rd, keeping it tight but using all the exit. Open DRS for straight line run. He looks at a 141.5. What about behind him? Oh, Godfrey sets a 2. Oh no, with it. Well, we lost whoever was behind him. There we go. Felipe Olsen. Steve Seen Sunsets a 42.8. Felipe Olsen a 42 flat. Dan Botafuco sets a 41.1. So he beats Lawrence, someone who I wasn't really paying attention to in the practice session. Beats Lawrence. Walter goes 6th. Moldova goes 8th. I think someone jumps. Jay Neal goes 3rd as he joins the session. Christopher Bowe's 9th. And Malone is 10th. But actually, Kefes goes 8th, so he drops Malone out of the top 10 here at Spa. So good on him. Cody Lawrence, I don't think, is on another time. I think he will take it an in lap now. Yeah, he will be taking an in lap, but I think the rest of these guys will be taking an in lap as well. Anyone else is really on a lap right now. I can check the live timings. Yeah, it seems no one really is on a lap. Ooh. Malone, I think, has had an incident. He's off the track. I think everyone's probably about to come in for a new set of tires. Yep, Cody Lawrence in the pits. And Dan Botafuca is about to follow. The man on pole currently with 15 minutes left to go in this session. Yeah, so he runs it into the pits. Christopher Bose is on a lap. Last season's Griffin Gaming driver, and most likely there's this season's Griffin Gaming driver. I think he gets past, if I can see correctly, off the track map. That was Lawrence coming up for another lap. He passes him just before he gets out. It was DRS. It's main straight. Go 3/10 down from the best lap time of this session. Let's see if he can improve the rest of the lap. Right-hander using all the curb. Now into this quick right-hander using all the exit curb. Now he comes, run down to Pouon. See what he can set at the end of the second sector. Maybe he's improved on his time. Gained a few tenths. This is a sector where you can't give him a bit of time. He keeps it to the right. Gets to the left to get ready for this right-hander. Into this real quick left. We'll come to the end of the second sector now after this flowy right-hander. No, he's down even more. This doesn't seem like it's going to be an improvement for Christopher Bowes. Cody Lawrence is right behind him, but to start a lap. As Christopher Godfrey has set a lap just now. I don't think he improves, though. Yeah, he's into the pits. It's not an improvement for him. Lawrence is right behind, about to start a lap. Jack Smith is on a lap, too. Gonna set his first lap of the session, as he's about to come to the end of the second sector. Jack Smith was in the Sprint Series last season for the Jungle GP Academy team. I don't think the Academy team will be competing in the Premier Series this season as well. I think it's just the one Jungle team. Yeah, he's come to the final few corners. Going through Blanchimont to the bus stop chicane to finish off the lap. Jack Smith on the bus stop chicane. Now, ooh, gets blocked. Who is that? Who's blocked, my boy? Dan Botafuca probably starting a lap of his own. Has blocked Jack Smith in qualifying, so not the best place to stop. As Cody Lawrence is on lap 2, hasn't improved either. He comes through Pouon. He could improve on his second sector. I do think he will. Felipe Olsen has a green first sector currently, so we'll check on him in a bit. Cody Lawrence, will he improve on his second sector? Yes, he does, and he is on par. I think that's with his own time. So we'll see if he can improve, get closer to Dan Botafuca. Felipe Olsen is about to finish his lap 2. He's right behind Cody Lawrence. Here we go. Cody Lawrence sets a 141.3. Does not improve. Felipe Olsen coming to the bus stop as well. Going to set a 141. I think that's going to be, yep, just barely. 141. Does not improve either on his position. As Jaden Neal is in the second sector, or almost in the second sector as well. He has improved on his first sector, has improved on his second sector so far. He's around 2 tenths up on the Delta, 0.26, 0.27 up on the Delta. We'll see when he crosses the second sector line whether he can improve. As he sets a purple second sector. That's a great second sector from Jaden Neal on the C4 tires. The tires he will have to start on if he, well, this is his best lap of the session. He's coming through. Watch him on now. Running to the bus stop. Let's see if he can brake late. Gets it done pretty solidly. Maybe a bit of smoke. Ooh, a bit unstable through the middle of the corner. But he's able to get a pretty solid exit, it seems. And he crosses the line for 141.4. Just not enough to beat Lawrence. And just not that good of a final sector. That bus stop's a really critical part of the lap if you want to get a good time here at Spa. I think Botafuca has just finished a lap recently, it seems, but it doesn't seem that it was an improvement, so we might have missed that. Giovanni Amorum in 7th. Was on a lap. He's gone back into pit, so it didn't seem it was worth it. Christopher Bowes again is on another lap in 10th place currently, trying to improve from his 10th place. Green first sector. I don't think he's up on the Delta, however. Yeah, he's definitely not. Yeah. So he's gone out of that one. Probably back to pits for the Griffin Gaming driver. Ooh, that's a huge crash. That is a huge crash from Christopher Bowes, and I think that might be his race done. No, as he's in the grass. He shouldn't get beached, but he's just waiting for a gap, I think, to get through. But I didn't even catch that. I was looking at the leaderboard. I was just, the second I glanced, I just see him go straight up vertical. So probably some damage for Bose there, but that was crazy. I couldn't even be super shocked. I just saw his car go vertical. I thought it was like a connection issue, but no, that was just him crashing into the wall in just the complete wrong way. But yeah, that was Budafuco passing him. Budafuco? These people, you gotta pronounce it on your. If I'm saying your name wrong and you're watching stream, please DM me syllable by syllable how to pronounce your name. I'm trying my best. Try to look as we try to look who else is on a lap currently. I think Moldova's on one, but no, they don't have. They're down their delta. They've stopped that lap. Dr. Wolf is on one. He has a purple first sector. This is a rapid lap already. So he probably got a really good run out of turn one if it's a purple sector. And yeah, 42-2, 41-2 I mean. And he's on the chase. For pole position. Steve Stevenson is right behind him. I don't think he's on the lap as well. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's on the lap. He's on an out lap. Or an in lap. You have to watch Wolf, see what he can do for this lap. Second sector seems to be decent. He is 5/10 up, 7/10 up. I just saw for a second there, up on his lap. Yeah, around 5 to 7/10 up roughly. The delta is kind of glitching out on me for a bit, but yeah, I'll say roughly 6/10 up on his lap time currently. This is going to be an insane lap if he can pull it together, and will definitely be pole if he can stitch it all together through the bus stop. Seems pretty decent. Gets a good run. Seems smooth as it comes to the line. It's going to be a 140.9 here in qualifying. That's just a couple tenths above. That's just barely under 2 tenths ahead of Dan Budafuoco in P2. That's 2.5 tenths away from Cody Lawrence. So good lap from Wolf here in this test race, and that's a really solid lap around this track. Is anyone else on a lap? Thomas Barry's on a lap. 2 green sectors as he's actually about to complete his lap here in Spa. As he comes to the line, Thomas Barry sets a 141, gets up into P4. Solid lap from the Frenchman. Felipe Olsen also has a green second sector. As we're watching him warm in that screen, in that little tiny screen on the leaderboard itself, what he's gonna set. Warm coming to the end of the lap. 42.4 is his best lap so far. That puts him P7. Let's see what this can put him. We come to the line. Good run. Very minimal slipping at the exit, but it doesn't seem to be it seems to be an improvement, but not enough to get in a position. He stays P7. Felipe Olsen, not the best second sector, it seems. But he'll have to try to push and see if he can get better. Volko's also on another lap. Green first sector. We'll catch up with him. Pretty on par with his last lap. Steve Stevenson is also on a pretty good lap. He's improving. We'll catch him crossing the line. Be a 141.3. Doesn't improve on his position. Felipe Olsen does not improve on his position either, and he's slower actually. I think Fuoco is still on a lap, and I think he's about to cross the second sector timing lap yep as he's coming through the S section right now. Come through campus into Stavelo. It's going to come to the run down to Blanchimont. Really flat. Kudoan's finished the lap, doesn't improve. I think Kev's finished the lap, doesn't improve. So Dan Budafuoco is not improving, though he does stop. But to say, I just saw his second sector wasn't that good and his delta was down. So yeah, he gives up on that lap with 4 minutes left to go. I think this will be his last attempt if he does decide to go out again. As I think that was Wolf getting its own way. It's Cody Lawrence. Was he on a lap? I don't think he was, and his delta's down already. So this wouldn't be a good lap. This wouldn't be a good lap either way. Christopher Bose, I think, is on a lap as well. So we'll have to see. Delta is pretty mid, and so we'll have to see if he's on a lap. I have to try to guess these off their Delta times. He's second sector. Yeah, I don't think he's on a lap. He is on a lap, I think, yeah. It doesn't seem like much of an improvement. Yeah, going wide. Pouan doesn't seem like the best lap from Christopher Bose. Foucault's in the pits. I don't seem to, and maybe if he wants to hit one more, he'll be coming out soon. And yeah, he is. I'm leaving the pits there. Christopher Bose does actually have a green second sector, so it's not too bad as he's a bit up on the time now. So I kind of wrote him off that first sector, but this is a decent second sector, so it may be an improvement. And this actually could be an improvement for P9 to get ahead of Beamer and G, as he is up by a couple, around almost 2/10, it's saying, as it's flickering. See if he can improve, and yeah, it seems like we want a 2/10 improvement. It crosses the line up for P9, a 2/10 improvement for Christopher Bose off his personal best in the session. So good on him for P9. Beamer and G, I don't think is on a lap, but I think he is about to start one, and I think we're about to see some of the final laps for this session. As Beamer and G comes to the line, we'll see what he sets as we watch out for other lap times coming in from other drivers. As Kefis is on a lap, it doesn't seem to improve in his middle sector. Zerbo should be coming into the pits now soon. Moldova in P15 is coming to finish the lap. I don't think this will be much of a major improvement for them as they come to the line 3/10 up. There may be a few positions to gain, but I don't think that many. P13, I think they were just P15, so decent improvement, but not enough to get into the top 10. Dr. Wolf is on a fastest lap currently, fastest second sector as he comes to Blanchimont flat out. This will be another improvement for this new driver to the series in this test race as he comes to the line. Who's that getting out of his way? Who cares? We're going to watch this lap be completed. Seems like a decent exit from the bus stop chicane as he gets a 140.7, 2/10 up off his previous fastest lap in this session. That is a really good lap, and that's a statement that he's going to be one of the top drivers this season just from one qualifying session. So is Buttafuoco as he passes him as he's on his final lap, as now he runs into, I'm forgetting names of corners, as he runs into Raidillon, or Eau Rouge into Raidillon, and on to the Camel Straight now as he runs to Lacombe. I don't know. I'm not European. But not improving, though. He is 600 down from his best lap, so it's not an improvement for him. I'm trying to look out for some other drivers who are improving. Beamer and Gina, I think, just finished his lap. Doesn't improve that much. Steve Stevenson seems to be on a pretty decent lap as well. And no, I think he's given up, though. I think he messed up. We're going to focus on Daniel Buttafuoco right now, but I don't think he's improving that much, too. It's really just he's even with his previous lap. Jaden Neal, I think, just set a lap. Thomas Berry, too, but they don't improve either, from what it seems. Yeah, they're not improving either, so Buttafuoco is the final one, I think, to do a lap here. We'll see what time he gets when he crosses the line. It's not improving. He's not improving. That lap was a 141.1, so it's not an improvement. He's dead on even, give or take a few hundredths. Cody Lawrence seems he's on a lap, as my sector times are now gone, so it's a bit harder now to tell who's on what. But yeah, Felipe also the pits. He's not improving. If Cody Lawrence can improve, he might be coming into the pits too, but no, he is a 10th up. So this may be an improvement. It's flickering up to 3/10, so this may be a pretty good lap for the American driver here, all the way in Belgium, as he comes across the line. Third place. Will he improve his time? Yes. His position? No. It's a 41.1 for the American driver, the Season 11 champ. won't start on pole for this test race, but he'll definitely start on pole in the season. Just you wait. Foucault is coming into the pitch. Jaden Neal's next across the line, most likely. Well, yeah, he's the next in line in track, but 141.3 is his fast lap. Can he improve? It doesn't seem like he's improving. Yeah, into the pits for Jaden Neal, the podium sitter with DAC Racing a couple times last season. Gonna have to be outside of the podium when starting this race in just a couple minutes' time. Jaden Neal's in 4th, and I think this should be our final lineup of the grid. And yeah, I guess that's your man on pole. Wolf, not his real name, I'm assuming, unless he wants to prove that with a birth certificate. Wolf is going to be your pole sitter for this race. A new face here, getting a pole in a test race, so still very good, but he'll have to replicate this in the actual season if he wants to score some points with it. Dan Botafuco, who's coming into the pits now, is going to be your second place man. Cody Lawrence is going to be 3rd. Season 11 champ starting in 3rd place. The all-new car, different developer. Jaden Neal in 4th. Thomas Barry is going to be in 5th. Also, the Jungle GP driver this season, as he was one of the first alongside Nico Bossert. Luke Olsen, Johnny Morum, Beeman Jenner, Steve Stevenson, Christopher Bowes. That fills out the rest of your top 10. I think Nico Bossert is not. Nico Bossert's at a lap. I think Nico Bossert's at a lap in qualifying. I swear he did. I guess he didn't. I guess he's going to be starting in the back. He's not on the server either, from what it seems. So I was going to say, I expect him to be in the top 10 too, but he may be. Yeah, he just didn't want to set a. Didn't want to set a time for qualifying. Give himself as a champion a bit of a challenge. Formula Trout champion, bit of a challenge. Yeah, if I had to give some predictions for the race, I think Wolf is fast. He's very fast. It's very clear he has pace, but he's gonna have to deal with some, I guess, Trout veterans. Gonna have to deal with some Trout veterans. Cody Lawrence, Jaden Neal, Thomas Barry, Nico Bossert. Further down the field, and less further down the field, Steve Stevens and Christopher Rose. These are all guys. Giovanni Morum too. Felipe Olsen. These are all guys who are veterans. They know how races go down here, so they are going to definitely give him a run for his money. The bottom half of the grid: Oliver Walter, Kamui Kifes, Ari Moldova, Mark Levine, Malone, Cassino George, Jack Smith, Christopher Godfrey, Nico Bossert. I think in last. I think he's in last. Yeah, he's in last for this race. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. He's starting last, most likely on those C3s. As we'll come to the grid now. This is your grid. Dr. Wolf is on pole position with the C4s, and that's most of your grid on C4s in the top 10. All of them are on C4s in the top 10. 29 laps, so probably going to try to pit a bit earlier than the halfway point. We'll look at the bottom, we'll look at the back half of the grid, P11 to P16. There's a mix. Alpha Walters on C4s, Mark Levine's on C4s, Kefes, Moldova, and Cosentino are on C3s. Jack Smith's on C3s. Christopher Godfrey's on C2, so he's on the hardest compound. He's the driver on the hardest compound this session. And Nico Bossert on C3, starting all the way down in 19th position. As this race should start in a matter of time. We're on board with Wolf, just waiting for the lights to go out here at Spa. As it should start any second now. We wait for the countdown to finish. People are just getting their final touches on some setups and energy mappings and such and strategies. I hear some engines on. People are ready to the race. As the red lights come on, test race 2 here at Spa for the Formula Trout Premier Series is lights out. And away we go here for Formula Trout at Spa. Test race 2. How will these new faces do? How will the veterans do? We will have to see as we come to turn 1. Wolf gets a good start. He's going to keep that lead into turn 1. There might be some contact, some argy-bargy racing in the back, but damn, Botafuco keeps P2. Cody Lawrence to P3. Jay Neal P4. Thompson Berry to P5. Felipe Olsen into P6. Christopher Bose gains a position up into P7. Stevenson, Durham Warnham keep their position. Beamer G, I think, falls back a tiny bit. And Wolf is under attack from Botafuco coming in to Lacombe's as I go side by side. I think that's Botafuco taking the lead of this race with that slipstream down the... Not Kemmel Straight. That's the wrong one. Is that the right one? The Kemmel Straight. That's the right one. Cody Lawrence close behind. And J.D. Neal close behind him. It's a really tight pack up in this top 5. Top 6. Felipe Olsen right behind them. Further back in the field. Ooh, that's Mark Levine getting close to Godfrey. Having to run wide a bit there. But no contact. I think we're good. I think I was kind of scared I had to do a server restart there. I'm kind of in charge in this race. But we're good. We're fine. As Jay Neal real close to Cody Lawrence here at the start, is making a run for his. He's giving Cody a run for his money on lap 1. And look, he's all over the rear end. Not so much at this corner. Not so much through. I can't say that track corner name. I just checked it. I cannot say that corner name. So I'm just gonna say we're going up to Blanchimont right now. It's gonna lead into the bus stop chicane. That previous corner name I could not say. We'll just say turn 16. But yeah, no. But he's pretty far away. That slipstream from Wolf is really helping Cody Lawrence pull away from Jaden Neal. We go back into intervals. We'll see what's close. Felipe Olsen is real close to Barberi. I think he thinks about it. Ooh, he's going to go for a move. Oh, tough move. Really late move. Felipe Olsen wasn't sure of it through that whole entire few seconds that move was happening. Bit of contact from for Thompson Bear and Felipe Olsen, and that gives Amorim a real close run to Felipe Olsen, and that gives, I think, Amorim 2 a chance. I mean, not Amorim, Beeman Jr. a chance, as, yeah, Giovanni Amorim is going to go for a move into Lacombe's down the Kemmel Straight with DRS, and it seems that's really easy, and obviously, of course, DRS is available 1 lap earlier now on lap 2, so that's already improving the racing as we see here. I think that's Barberi going a bit wide, hitting the gravel, but not good for him. But here we go. Jaden Neal real close to Cody Lawrence once again. 3/10 roughly as we come into Pouan. He might lose a bit due to some dirty air. As the back of the field is not so spread out. It's Mark Levine chasing Kefes, who just goes wide there. Ooh, and that's him going wide to the gravel, catching it. I'm kind of glad we caught that. Come back to the lead here. The fight for the win. Jaden Neal, well, fight for the win maybe a bit too early. We still have to see how this race plays out. But here for the fight for the lead currently, Jaden Neal is getting a decent run of Cody Lawrence now. And coming into Blanchimont, it's going to be all flat, all slipstream down these next few corners. With the hard breakings of the bus stop chicane, this could be a move for Jaden Neal, the DSC Systems driver last season in Season 12. But no, it's not going to be. Going to stick behind and we'll probably wait for the DRS next rate as Cody Lawrence is coming into the pits. Cody Lawrence, maybe with some damage. He's coming into the pits really early on. Maybe some experimentation going on. This is a test race, and I don't think he had any major contact in those first 2 laps. So I think this may be an experimental strategy coming in one of these test races, seeing if it works. Cody Lawrence just dropping down the field currently. Oh, no, he has a drive-through. He has a drive-through, Cody Lawrence. I thought he was just trying to be... I can't curse on the stream, but I thought he was trying to be a smart something, but no. He had a drive-through penalty. I didn't even see that. He had a drive-through penalty from the start. So he may have jumped the start and had to take a... He definitely did jump the start and had to take a drive-through penalty. So that is just heartbreak for... Oh, what was that behind him? That's just heartbreak for Cody Lawrence. Drive-through putting him all the way down to P10. So this now is a recovery drive for the Season 11 champion. And that's kind of... And I think will allow him to test more without some dirty air. But I think some testing and some racing this session too would have been nice. But what it also does is that doesn't help Jaden Neal, who's a bit further from Wolf. So won't be able to get that slipstream, get that much slipstream as he was getting from Thompson Berry. I'm trying to read chat. We go here. 5/10 the gap. Felipe Olsen, I see that. From Giovanni Amorim. He is pretty close. We come into the bus stop chicane. The gap's already kind of extending up with the lead, and Botafogo slower in quality, Botafogo, but I think the race pace might be a little bit stronger, more consistent, as he's able to keep the lead so far, with Wolf not being able to really close the gap up more than the 8/10. But we'll have to see how they can take care of their tires and such. As I say that, he gains, I think, like around a 10th. But Felipe Olsen, I think, is catching up to Amorim, who passed him just a little earlier this race. Now onto lap 4. He's going to try to overtake him. We come onto the Kemmel straight. DRS open. We'll see if he can catch up with the slipstream. He's around 4/10, which is usually the strongest of the slipstream in Assetto-Corsa, but no, it doesn't work, and he has to stay behind. A pretty chaotic race down there. Cody Lawrence getting that drive-through, causing him to go down into 9th as Felipe runs into the gravel right there. Runs a bit wide. Cody Lawrence down in 9th due to a drive-through. Already gained 1 position, though, ahead of Jack Smith. Jaden Neal is slightly but sure is slowly falling back from Wolf in 2nd, and Wolf is about to run out of DRS from Dan Botafogo in 1st place. So, and I think he has just barely fallen out of it. So they're going to need to pick up the pace if they want a chance, try to stick up with him for the win. But obviously, if they're this close too, strategy could also be in the play, in the cards, winning on strategies. We'll have to see. So yeah, the top and the back of the field is kind of spread out too right now. They're very close, but just not enough to be in DRS. Yeah, we follow Felipe Olsen still chasing Giovanni Amorim as Dan Botafogo takes a fast lap of 144.1. Pretty decent lap. Obviously, they're fat full of fuel right now, these cars. So we'll have to see if he can keep that up, keep getting fastest laps, as these tires will wear a bit more with a bit more fuel in the car. As Dr. Wolf is still in DRS, so I think the DRS is what's keeping him DRS. Felipe Olsen, decent run now. Inside, outside. He goes to the outside, just like Amorim did to him. I think he will get the move done, and he gets the move done way before the corner. That's Felipe Olsen back up into 5th place in this race. Amorim now back in the same position he was just a lap or two ago, now wanting to pass Felipe Olsen again. These guys are going to be close. I can just kind of feel it. As Jaden Neal, I think, has just slipped out of the DRS of Wolf in 2nd place. And I think this is our close battle right now. Felipe Olsen and Amorim fighting for 5th place, just a few positions outside of the podium. So if someone up further messes up or has a spin, it could be a podium opened up for them. As Mark Levine is 2/10 behind Oliver Walter, coming through and running into the run of Pouan. Oliver Walter moving a bit there in Pouan. I don't think anyone would realistically go for a move into Pouan, but I think someone would realistically go into a move into this very S-like section. As around the outside, Mark Levine on Oliver Walter. Solid move from Mark Levine. Very solid from him. That's just a solid move. I can't complain with that. He's up into P12 now. 1 position closer to P11. 1 position closer to making it to the top 10. Now he's got to chase Malone in P11. Hopefully Jack Smith in P10. As Cody Lawrence down in 9th takes the fastest lap of the race on those C4 tires. He locks up a bit there, I think, but he's still chasing up and catching up to the drivers ahead. We know how good he is when it comes to race pace, so I don't doubt for a second he'll be able to make up the time and at least get into the top 5 at the least with a bit of strategy and just pure pace from the Season 11 champion. We'll go back to Amorim. Still a close battle here on track. Amorim 5/10 back from Felipe Olsen. So it's really just going to be mind games with each other, these two. They're just going to have to try to put the pressure on each other, and, you know, Felipe's going to want to make him push, and Amorim's going to want to make Felipe push. So it's just really who makes a slight mistake, and if that slight mistake can lead to an overtake down one of the major straights, or even in a corner like this we're coming up to, which is Stavolo. As the gap is inclusive, as Amorm did lose a bit of time through that tight, very technical section, and Anastavolo is around 9/10 back. But I think he should, with the slight slipstream, will get down through Blanchimont and the hard braking of the bus stop chicane and then the DRS on the main straight. I think he should just have enough, barely be able to stay in DRS from what it seems, as he's gonna brake into the bus stop chicane. Gets a solid run. I think he'll have DRS, and I think he should. And yes, he does. He is able to get DRS. Able to keep up with Felipe Olsen. Wolf is still in the DRS of Dan Botafogo. So good on him. I do want to do something. Here we go. The lap times from these two. Wolf and Cody Lawrence. As Wolf is chasing the leader. Cody Lawrence has, these past few laps, has been a slight bit faster than Wolf, I have to say. 15 seconds is the gap between those two. So on this lap, Cody Lawrence was a 10th faster in the first sector, but what we care about is the lap time gains. And lap 4, 2/10 faster. Lap 5, 1/10 faster. Lap 6, just a slight tiny bit faster. But if you can keep these consistent time games up against the leaders, he could find himself back in the top 5, maybe even the top 3 to compete for a podium, Cody Lawrence. We'll just have to see how this race plays out, as we're on lap 7 of 29. Just a slight bit away from the halfway point of this race. If I had to guess, we're going to see some pit stops around maybe lap 11, 12 if they're considering going on a harder tire. Alright. Nico Bossert, also someone I haven't really checked up on as well too often than not. Started down in 19th, he's up into 15th, and I think strategy might be his play. I think he's just giving himself a bit of a challenge starting at the back half of the grid. I think he might have got caught up in something too, because he really is pretty far behind Kefa, so I think he might have gotten caught up in an incident in the rear. He might have missed just a mistake from his end, which would be a rare occurrence, but Bossert is making his way up and trying to honestly just run some laps and see what he can do. Moldova is up into P9. He's in the top 10 now. Due to Cody Lawrence's due to a good start in Cody Lawrence's drive-through, helping him a bit. He's in 9th place. Cody Lawrence is ahead of him though, however. But still very good of him to get it, very good of them to get up into the top 10 with 2 points if this was a real race in the season, but test race. But still good to know you can be in that top 10 with a field like this. He's 8/10 behind Cody Lawrence. Cody Lawrence passed him just a bit ago, and I think we might have missed that too, sadly. It's in front of him. But he is keeping up. He's around 6/10 back. I think he went a bit wide there. Juan. Off a tiny bit of time. Yeah, I think Cody Lawrence is about to leave in the dust. Toe touches around the gap. Maybe slipstream here. The run down to Blanchimont's going to help him a bit, but I don't think it'll help him that much. As Dr. Wolf started in pole position. Now in P2 after a good start from Dan Botafogo, getting the lead on lap 1. He's out of DRS, it seems, and I think across his line. Nope, in DRS. No, he's not. No, he had to close it. I think that was force of habit. No, he had to close it. He is not in DRS. That might be a penalty for him. I think there's some lenience on the system we have when it comes to DRS, so I think and that could also just be a visual glitch. But yeah, but we'll have to check. Jay Neal is getting within under a second. Again, he did just lose a bit of time and was in DRS for a bit, but I think he is now again. As he's chasing Dr. Wolf here. 2/10 behind, but if he does make a mistake, if Wolf makes a mistake, Raidillon should be in a real good shot of overtaking for P2 and defending that position. Coming down through Blanchimont right now. Slipstream, he might be getting a very slight slipstream, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And yeah, I do think he's going to be definitely out of DRS now. But actually, no, the power just short and ram this bus stop chicane may help him keep DRS. We'll check and try to hear it. But no, actually, yeah, no, he doesn't get DRS. He was out of DRS. So he loses it and loses that bit of time as Giovanni Amorum is the first for the proper pit stop. We saw Cody take that drive through earlier. That's the reason he's down in 7th. This is the first driver to take a proper pit stop for tires. As we'll see what he gets on. Yep, he gets onto the C3 tires, I'm pretty sure that is. Yep, that's a C4 tire. What? No, I read the wrong one. That's C3. Yeah, that's a C3 tire he gets on as he leaves the pits. Just behind Moldova and Cody Lawrence and just ahead of Beamer and G, who's 2 seconds behind, but he's going to be on some fresh tires, and this is the strategy, like I said, on lap 11 or 12, but this is lap 10 he's pitted on. So let's see if he can make this strategy work, pitting a little earlier than I think some others are going to pit. Jaden Neal is actually catching up to Wolf, 8/10. Wolf maybe made a mistake, maybe ran on the gravel a tiny bit, as he has lost a bit of time to Botafogo as well. Let's see who of these top 3 will take a pit stop first. Strategy will play a big part, as I think these guys are going to be relatively on these same strategies. Oh, that's Wolf! Wolf with the big crash into the wall coming out of Stavolo. He's in the wall, and I think that's going to be him retired. Oh, yeah, that was a big hit. That is him retired. That's someone else in the pits, too. Christopher Godfrey on completing his strategy, pitting on his tire. But that is a big crash and a big upset for Wolf. Such a great qualifying result and such a great, and also that gives Botafogo free reign to pit, and so does Jaden Neal pits at the same lap. But yeah, for Wolf, that is just a terrible result after such a solid qualifying session. Having really solid pace, just a slight mistake caused him to spin out and lose an easy podium in this test race. Well, Botafogo pits on to C3s. I think Jaden Neal as well gets out. He'll be behind Botafogo. Oh, they're side by side. Oh, it's just like Monaco 2019. Oh, there we go. Leclerc, Verstappen 2022 in Silverstone. Or was that Perez? I don't remember. Side by side through the pits, and that's Botafogo getting ahead. Jaden Neal falling behind, but we'll have the chance to overtake, and they are close to Moldova, which Dan Botafogo will have DRS, so I think they'll both have DRS. Oh, this is going to be heavy, as Jaden Neal just crosses right on the front of him. That's real close. That's a blue flag as they go side by side through the comb. It gets pushed out wide. Jaden Neal, I think that was kind of deserved. Who knows? Botafogo getting ahead, pushing Jaden Neal wide. Jaden Neal did cut real close in front of him on the Camel Straight. So that was some pretty close racing between the two. Sadly, won't see a fight go further as he's on the gravel now, 7 seconds behind, but a real close battling there on the Camel Straight between those two. Felipe Olsen is a second behind Thomas Barberi, as these two are the next to pit most likely. Cody Lawrence is behind them too, now in 3rd position. On strategy, I do think he's around P7 still. We'll have to see. Thomas Barberi in front of him. Will he pit? Will stay on board with the Frenchman and the season 12 race winner at, I think, Portimao. Oh, it's lock up there for Thomas Barberi. These tires are coming to an end, and yep, he goes into the pits. I think behind him will be Felipe Olsen. No, Felipe Olsen stays ahead. Decides to try to one-up Barberi, stay up for one extra lap, see if he can keep the pace up for a strategy gain or advantage. We'll see how he does. Thomas Barberi pitting. I keep clicking that by accident, but Thomas Barberi pitting, and what does he pit onto? He pits onto a pair of C3s. Where does he come out? That's Jaden Neal right there, coming around the outside into turn 1, but he gets ahead of Jaden Neal, and that's a good result for Thomas Barberi, but behind Botafogo by a good margin too. Cody Lawrence 10 seconds behind Felipe Olsen. Let's see, Felipe Olsen definitely going to pit now, in response to Thomas Barry. We'll just see how it all plays out. Botafogo passing Moldova. We almost missed that. On a different strategy, Moldova has not pit yet. Botafogo now trying to chase Cody Lawrence on some newer tires. Cody Lawrence should have the pit soon too if he wants to be on the best strategy for the best result. And 2.5 seconds behind Cody Lawrence. Botafogo is. If he could pass Cody Lawrence on these tires, that would be insane, first of all, but also just not help Cody Lawrence as well. As Felipe Olsen is coming to the end of the lap through Blanchimont right now, fully flat out, of course. Not onto the curbing, just a little bit out. Look at that number 8 livery car. It's a very pink livery car. Reminds me of Kyle Kirkwood's car in IndyCar. He comes to the pits and turns on that pit limiter. Average time is 50 seconds in the pit lane, so it will definitely lose a few positions as he goes into the pits. I think that's someone behind him coming into the pits as well. That's Cody Lawrence coming into the pits as well. Botafogo easily gets past, and so does Moldova, Thomas Barry, Jaden Neal, and Amorum. A lot of these guys are getting past too, yeah. Felipe Olsen will come out the pits. Behind, I think, just ahead of Giovanni Amorum. Cody Lawrence going to come out behind Beamer and G, and it's going to be a good bit behind of him, both on C3. So I guess, yeah, that was the main strategy for today's race. Yeah, Giovanni Amorum in DRS for Felipe Olsen. Everything is just stayed as it should. Moldova is still everything is back to how it was, besides Moldova here in P2 currently. I think this is a net currently P8 for Moldova once they pit. So currently in P2, but one strategy, once they pit, they should be around net P8, 9. The Bossart's also in the top 10 now. I doubt it, but I don't think he has pitted either. He's on C3s, and he did start on C3, so I'll check right now too if he has pitted. No, he has not. He's not pitted. I don't know. He has pitted. I think he. I don't think he has pitted. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he did pit. He pitted last lap, and so we missed that 2 laps ago on lap 11. So we did miss that on the street. But he is P9 currently, so good strategy call from him. It's able to get ahead of a few of the drivers he was behind up to the top 10. And there's the pace he has. Imagine if he was up at the front with the rest of the guys. Over to P10 now, starting from last position in this race. Jaden Neal catching up to Thompson Berry, 7/10. And I think this is a driver he'll be able to catch up to, as they're pretty even on pace right now. Currently, we'll check. We'll see right now. Thompson Berry obviously pit on lap 12, but he was 6/10 slower on his last lap. I think that's given Jaden Neal the edge slightly to get into DRS and maybe even put up a fight with Thomas Barry. Thomas Barry does have DRS from Moldova, which should be helping him keep ahead of Jaden Neal. But once Moldova pits, which will most likely be in the next few laps, next 2 laps, honestly, you won't have that safety net of the DRS to help him defend from Jaden Neal. Jaden Neal's real close, 5/10 now he is from Thomas Barry. Giovanni Amorum is finally in the DRS to Felipe Olsen, but yeah, this is going to be a close fight, and Jaden Neal getting a bit argue. Ooh, that's a snap for Jaden Neal. That's into the gravel and grass for Jaden Neal. He was so close to Barry. He was probably going to be able to get a move onto the next lap, and he gets passed by Felipe Olsen. And now Amorum's on his tail. That's a position loss. And I feel 2 position loss at the end of this back straight through Blanchimont. Because yeah, Giovanni Amorum's not going to be on his rear end. Neal's going to try to defend this. Squeeze out Amorum, but Amorum around the outside through Blanchimont is able to get the move done. Jaden Neal's not going to go down without a fight. Down the inside into the bus stop chicane. No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it. Stays behind. Is not able to get the move done. Has to stay behind, and now is at risk from Beamer and G. But he's not. Jaden Neal thought a move there real quick. Didn't commit to it though. Stayed behind. He's gonna get the DRS. VRC has to slightly avoid as Cody Lawrence now takes the fast lap away from Botafogo, a 1:43.9. As Cody Lawrence is around 7 seconds away from VRC, so gonna take a good bit of pace from him from now to the end of the race to catch up to this pack in the front. But Thomas Barry gets ahead of Moldova. Moldova still yet to pit in this race. They're going on a pretty different strategy from everyone else. Will it work? It doesn't seem like it will. It seems just like on net position they are just going to end up back where they were, and they might be losing the position now via the pace they have. But the pace they have doesn't seem terrible also. So see if this alternative strategy can work out for this Premier Series, for this driver's first Premier Series race. I'm pretty sure. As they're doing a pretty long stint on these C3s. Joe Neal's back within a second now. Felipe Olsen losing a position to Mormon. Olsen just a lap ago this exact place. Was able to regain out on a Mormon pretty quickly, but now his chase is on Olsen, who is in P4, and this is for a net podium position. P3. They've all pitted everyone in this top group. As Botafogo takes the fastest lap again, a 43.9. He does, just slightly faster. And Thomas Barry takes the fastest lap, a 43.6. Thomas Barry is definitely not playing around. He's definitely pushing at this stage of the race. Let's see if he can get the win now after Wolf's DNF and without the pressure of Jaden Neal right behind him. Yeah, Felipe Olsen trying to chase Moldova down for that net P3. Jaden Neal having a shot at that net P3, being this close to Felipe Olsen. We'll have DRS down the Camel Straight. So we'll get 1 or 2 tenths with that slipstream. And actually doesn't seem he does. It seems it's pretty even as Felipe Olsen, I think, has slipstream from Moldova behind. We'll say the interval is just a couple tenths off due to connection between these drivers. These drivers are very global, so it may seem like they're within. Oh, that's a big crash! Big crash for Beamer and G, I think. Who was that? Who was that? Oh my gosh. I don't know who that was, but they're definitely in the pits most definitely now. Moving back to pits. I think that was Malone. I was about to. Was that Malone? I think that might have been Malone. We'll have to look back at the track because Felipe Olsen down around the outside of Moldova and gets the move done for third place, net position. Moldova's still not pitting, still staying on track. He's gonna hold up Jaden Neal now. Here, as we come down the main straight, DRS wide open, not gonna be close enough for a move. It's gonna ruin his race slightly. As we got a tire onto the grass there. Moldova, actually, it may not. He's gonna give him DRS down. He's gonna go slipstream up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon and a slipstream down the Camel Straight. So this may give, Jay Neal a run, and Moldova will have DRS as well. And Felipe Olsen won't. DRS open around the outside. He'll get past Moldova pretty easily. No, they're pretty even because of DRS. It's side by side. Moldova gives it up pretty easily. Not shocking. They're on a totally different strategy. Jay Neal now chasing Felipe Olsen once again. The gap's slightly smaller now. Morm is in the pits. I think he might have been the drive-thru crashed. I think that was a Morm. Crashed. He's still in the pits, so we'll have to see if he gets back out there. I think Wolf is back, just now a lap down. Jaden Neal, 5 tenths roughly behind Felipe Olsen. This is now for a podium position with Moldova out the way. And with a good run through Stavolo into this back straight, and as they run through Blanchimont, maybe he can do the same thing he did to Amorm just a few laps ago. But no, he's not close enough for a move around the outside of Blanchimont. Definitely not close enough for a move down the inside at the bus stop chicane. Felipe Olsen is only 3-4 seconds behind Barberi. As Moldova finally pit on the C3s, most likely will move on to the C4s, doing the opposite strategy of most drivers here in this race. Here we go. Right, as he comes out, as they come out on C3s. This Jade Neal is still very close to Felipe Olsen. 4-5 tenths now. On lap 18 out of 29. We're past the halfway point by a good while now as Wolf takes the fast lap of 143.6. They're back out on the track a lap behind, however. So they might be just on some soft tires doing some fun practice runs. Obviously test race, so I think that is allowed, but we'll have to see after the fact. But good, he's still out there. Big crash. He's not in the fight for the win anymore, but he still can get some practice laps in here at Spa. Just hopefully he does not interrupt anyone's race in battles like this. We're third. Jade Neal still very close, but just not close enough still. He really has to get a good lap in if he wants to try to get an overtake done on Felipe Olsen in third. We do know is going to be a Griffith Gaming driver next season. So, Jade Neal, I still don't know where he's going to go. He's definitely going to get a seat. This guy has pace. This guy is fast. And as you saw, he is aggressive. So, he does definitely want to fight for positions. Neal, the DRS still losing some time, however. The ERS could be affecting these guys, so Neal may have used some ERS on the previous lap to try to catch up, but now has to regen some, but he's still very close to Felipe Olsen. We'll have to see as they're both charging there. The lights flashing, and Felipe Olsen's actually charging into Pouan. So yeah, he's charging through Pouan, Felipe Olsen is. Yeah, Jade Neal's able to catch up a bit, and I think this is some clever energy strategy at work. Cause yep, there's Jade Neal charging a bit there. As Amorim takes the fast lap in P10 of 143.2. So good on him. As Kef is in the pits, but yeah, I think some pretty smart energy strategies going on there. Felipe Olsen having his battery charged through Pouan, it seems. Obviously, no person in their sane mind would attempt to move around the inside or outside of Pouan, so it's a pretty safe place to charge your battery. Really not that much charging, but it can gain you a few percent, maybe 1 or 2, up to 5% maybe. I wouldn't know the exact value, but a good bit of battery to save up and use on that lap or later laps. As Beamer and G is near the behind of Cody Lawrence. And Cody Lawrence just recently passed him and trying to get away, but he has DRS and he is pretty close. They may have a chance to fight back against Felipe Olsen. Cody Lawrence says Jade Neal doesn't have a chance to fight Felipe Olsen. I think their batteries just maybe. I think their battery might just be a little too low. I think they need to save some battery and try to get one big attack against Felipe Olsen. They're still very close. As you see there, Jade Neal isn't charging going into Pouan, but Felipe Olsen is. If you look at their lights, oh, he is charging a bit into Pouan now. But yeah, still very close. That's what seemed to be in the case. It seems that through the middle sector they are staying pretty close, but once they hit that main straight, Felipe Olsen's able to keep Jade Neal at bay for a while, but maybe not at bay, maybe not as much as bay as. Can't keep him at bay right now as he's 3/10 now, and definitely any battery he saved is going to try to deploy Jaden Neal. The same for Felipe Olsen to defend, and he's very close, but he's just pulling away ever so slightly, charging into the bus stop, but not close enough unless he wanted to do that crazy dive he's thinking about just for a split second there, but he's not close enough, but he's still very close to Felipe Olsen, and a strong exit for Olsen puts them back around 5/10 a gap. So some energy strats going on right now between these two. I think Jaden Neal just needs to save some energy and just go for one big energy jump on the Camel Straight if he wants to get past, because they're pretty close in pace, these two. So here you have it. They're just kind of trading, flip-flopping who's faster each lap. Jaden Neal can definitely get past. He just has to do it at the right time, as 8 laps are left in this race, so not much time. Oh, is that a big incident? Who is that? That is Malone kind of getting in the way. Maybe spun off, was trying to rejoin the track. Not the best rejoin in the world, but able to rejoin and not hurt Cody Lawrence. The other who I think just got passed. No, he actually has in his behind as Nico Bossert P8. Fastest lap, 142.7. So yeah, he's just slow, as Nico Bossert hasn't had the most active race. This hasn't had the most active race, but it's just quietly and surely getting some laps done and getting some practice in. So maybe he just wanted to get some, race laps and, race start practice and didn't really care about the battling portion. Maybe he won't battle anyone. Maybe he'll just dominate every race and just lead by 20 seconds. Hopefully not, but hey, maybe he's that confident. But we'll have to see once the season begins in 2 weeks' time at Bahrain. As Jaden Neal is still under that 5, it's still roughly around 5 to 7 tenths back from Felipe Olsen. Just doesn't seem he can get the exits out of corners to keep up. I think the Camel Straight again is the best bet for Jaden Neal to get a move done. But he's just not able to stay that close ahead to him. As Felipe Olsen again was faster that lap than Jaden Neal. As they by 2/10 as they come straight once again. 6/10, 7/10 roughly the gap between these two. I'm sure DRS is going to be wide open, as it definitely is. And yeah, it's just too far. Neal's it's just still too far to get ahead of Felipe Olsen. Yeah, like see how close he gets in the middle. See how close he gets in the middle sector. But just then through that, another fastest lap. But 142.7 by Bossert. But yeah, Jaden Neal is just able to get so close through the middle sector. But then once it comes to actually getting the move done on the back or main straight, it's just he just doesn't seem to have enough, honestly, power or energy to get a real good run onto Felipe Olsen and get the overtake done. But he might have a chance here. I think this might be his best bet on the back straight into Blanchimont. He's real close now, 2/10, almost 1/10. No DRS, so it's all just going to be pure horsepower and battery to get this move done, and bravery on the brakes when it comes into the bus stop chicane as Felipe Olsen's charging around the outside. Jaden needs to be confident. Maybe a switch back. He's going to have DRS onto the main straight. Felipe Olsen will not. Maybe a brave dive into the inside. We'll have to see. He stays behind. I honestly think he should have gone for that as Felipe goes a bit wide there into turn 1, but it won't really matter. Yeah, it's just a tough battle. He needs to save the energy to get the move done. I think right now his plan of attack is that back straight. But I know it's pretty difficult to line up a move with battery and charging and just being close enough on the main straight. But he knows he has the pace on that middle sector. He really does know he has the pace on that middle sector. So if he can keep it in the middle sector, if he can stay close in the middle sector, he will be able to get it done. It's pretty close now. Look at that. This Bossert, another fastest lap of 42.3. This guy is on fire right now with fastest laps. What tire is he on? He's on the C4 tire. He's not on any crazy tire. That's not any crazy tire currently. He's on the C4 tire, not the C5, but yeah, good on this. Good on Bossert for getting these pretty solid laps in and just practicing doing race pace right now. There's Jaden Neal still is chasing Felipe Olsen. This is the main battle for this race. 23 out of 29 laps, 6 laps left to go. 6 laps left for Jaden Neal to secure a podium in this final test race. See if we gain some confidence before the real start of the season. VRC wide open, just not close enough again. Felipe is charging his battery though, so he may have a chance on this main straight if you charge through the lap. And now down into Eau Rouge. Just not close enough, I don't feel. I don't think he's close enough to get a move done. On to Felipe Olsen. In front of them, that's Thomas Bavarian P2. Having a pretty comfortable second place. I think he's pretty confident Felipe won't be able to catch up. Behind them, Felipe, but I don't think Felipe's big worry now is just Thomas Bavarian. I think his big worry is losing this podium to Jaden Neal, 4 tenths behind him. He's really keeping the pressure on. And it has shown and that pressure has shown that it has caused him to do a couple mistakes. So Jaden Neal can stay close and maybe go for a move. I think Felipe just needs to focus on some clean laps, some good, smart places to recharge the battery. Is Jaden Neal recharging the battery a bit right there? The corners and through Stabilo, even to charging the battery. Felipe Olsen not charging anything, however. So again, I think I was right. I think his main plan of attack is this corner right here. Blanchimont, he's going to try to get a move done here. I think he may be saving for next lap as well, as he's around 5 tenths back again. This is the first time I think we've seen this. I think obviously last race was a bit more chaotic and people were getting used to the car, but I think this is the first race where we're seeing some pretty developed strategies and ideas when it comes to actually setting up the ERS and the battery usage in these pretty complex cars. Obviously the VRC Formula Alpha 2025 has the ERS map modes, which will automatically deploy ERS based on the sections you put them on, kind of like real life Formula 1. Real life Formula 1 drivers aren't constantly changing through balanced and high deployment, low deployment. They have energy, and the energy gets deployed at specific points, and they only really have a button for overtaking, deploying all the energy at once. And I think we're starting to see the similarities now to real life with this car. We're seeing some people using the ERS strategies, the maps, the energy maps strategically, how they would use them in real life. So that's honestly kind of very cool to see that can be replicated so well in sim racing. Seeing them charging through the corners and clearly deploying, being faster than the other car in front, even without any DRS. As Felipe's now charging. He wasn't charging through that corner last lap. So he's definitely charging now with 3 laps left to go. This is gonna be the tightest fight to the end so far. Hopefully we get some tighter fights to the end in the actual season. But here at Spa, I think this would be pretty solid end if we just can see a battle to the end. As Felipe kind of goes by there, 4 tenths behind Jaden Neal. As he will get the slipstream, no DRS, but maybe some battery usage and some more compared to Felipe. But no, Felipe pretty solid ahead and charging already, charging super early, not even in the braking zone. I hope Alex is still watching this, because I know he would find this interesting, the usage of battery and the ERS maps strategically here in a battle like this. Very much, again, like real life Formula 1. Well, and we'll definitely see a lot of this in Brazil tomorrow. It's going to rain in Brazil tomorrow for Formula 1, so I'm very excited to watch that. But currently, we're watching Test Race 2 here, and after next week, we're going to have the first race of the Premier Series. So you get to watch Formula 1 this week, get a break, and then you get to watch Premier Series round 1 the week after. Felipe Olsen is just able to keep this gap alive. But, is that someone in the grass? I think that might be someone beach. That's Kefas Beach, almost beach. I was able to get out of it. Going. He is able to keep it going. finish this race in a solid way. Clean way. Jay Neal still very close to Felipe Olsen. Yeah, we've just been watching this battle for a while. I'm sorry if some of the viewers are getting bored, but this is a very tight battle, and it's kind of just hard to focus on anyone else right now when this is a pretty tight battle. And this is actually not the only tight battle. Giovanni Amorim down in P10 could steal P9 from Mark Levine. As they come now down to the Kemmel Straight around the outside, Giovanni Amorim with the DRS and easily gets ahead of Mark Levine. Mark Levine going around the outside doesn't make it stick. He's on the harder tire on the alternative strategy, but just can't make it work. And Giovanni Amorim gets ahead as Mark Levine goes wide into the wall. That's gonna be some damage for Mark Levine. And Jay Neal, I think maybe a mistake. He's pretty far back now. So yeah, I think he made a mistake. Yeah, I think he might have lost his chance at a move on Felipe Olsen. He's now a second behind. Yeah, I think that might be Jay Neal's chance for putting him over, but never say never. With 2 more laps to go. 2 more laps to go. Never say never. Never say never, especially in motor racing. As he's gaining the time back now, and I think it might have just been some ERS saving actually. He's already back up to under 5/10, and Felipe's really charging. He sees that gap he has to Jaden Neal, and he's using that to charge the battery, make sure he has enough to defend if Jaden Neal's charging as well. Smart on Felipe Olsen, using those energy maps to his advantage, using them very wisely and smartly. That's not a word. Smartly is not a word. Forgive me. Yeah, Mark Levine in the pits after that damage, but here we go on to lap 28 once Little clutches the line. Yep. Second to last lap. It's going to be the last 2 attempts Jaden Neal has to secure P3 in this race. Here we go, a second behind. So Felipe Olsen now deploying his battery, I'm pretty sure. Have a look with him to come past the camera. It's a blinking. No, it is not. He is fully deploying that energy he was just saving just a lap ago, we saw. And look at that gap increase. I don't think Jaden Neal has any chance at least this lap to get a move done. He's been left in the dust with that just plain battery deployment from Felipe Olsen. Now away he goes. That's a good on. Felipe Olsen very smartly using his energy recovery. Using his energy very strategically. In the back there, Nico Bossert catching up to Beamer NG. Always pronounces each name wrong. And see, Beamer NG has been slower lap on lap, so we'll watch that, see if he can get the move done before races end. Beamer NG, it's gonna be a pretty good result for him. P7 with the whole grid around him, so very solid for him. I wish I knew his real name. But as we come onto the last lap with a Foco crossing the line, this is gonna be Jaden Neal's last attempt at an overtake, but I don't think he will get it. I think he's just a little too far. But I think Nico Bossert will have a chance, honestly, to get this move done on Beamer NG. As we come to the line, as they come to the last lap, Nico Bossert is just a couple tenths away, and I think he might be using some energy strategy too to catch up to this guy. Beamer NG, 5 tenths is the gap. Foco still in the lead of this race. he's had a pretty dominant race so far. Obviously, he was fighting with Wolf and had to worry about the guys close to him earlier this race, but he's had a pretty solid, consistent race, and I think that's some good lookings. That's a good looking view of his season. Hopefully, come Bahrain in 2 weeks' time, that he will be a solid, consistent driver who definitely be fighting for some wins, if not a championship, with this pace he's shown today. I said earlier, this race, it'll be the new guys versus the veterans. Who could show who's better today? Who could show the most, I guess, raw pace and readiness for the season? And I think it's clear today, Fuoco has definitely shown that he is ready for Premier Series Season 13 as Test Race 2 comes to a close, and Dan Buttafuoco wins here in Spa in pretty solid, consistent fashion. Thomas Berry's going to come across P2. Felipe Olsen's going to stay ahead of Jaden Neal, or P3. Jaden Neal just not doing enough. Cody Lawrence, a good recovery drive to P5, and definitely could have caught up to Felipe and Neal if a mistake were to crop up between those two. Some more roughhousing battle-wise. Moldova is going to come around for P7 as Christopher Godfrey comes to P6 as leaderboard glitches a bit there, messing me up. Moldova here, P7, and BMG is running for his life from Nico Bossert right now. He is running for his life right now from Nico Bossert. And I think he'll just stay ahead as Bossert spins, and he'll lose P9, lose P10 to Giovanni Amorum, I think. No, it's a lap car actually, so he won't lose it. But Nico Bossert scaring the living life out of Beamer and G, but he's able to make it to the line. Beamer and G in 7th, Nico Bossert in 8th, Malone's in 9th. Godfrey is in... Okay, leaderboard's kind of glitching out, so forgive me. But Godfrey is in 9th, so that means Moldova is in... I think people are actually leaving now, so I think this is kind of glitched out. Yeah, that is your race. Dan Buttafuoco, your race winner here at Spa for Test Race 2. And he's looking pretty solid for Race 1 at Bahrain in 2 weeks' time. And definitely a team will snatch him up with this pace he's shown today. Even if it's just one race, it's just kind of undeniable how fast this guy is currently. Yeah, with the likes of Cody Lawrence, Thomas Barberry, Nico Bossert showing his pace off today, starting from the back and being able to catch up to these guys in the front. Season 13 is going to be a pretty good season if I have anything to say about it. If I can say anything about it. Yeah, as the race is now over, that's your winner. And Buttafuoco, if we want to get in focus, please, camera. There we go. And as he's coming across the line. Very solid racing, much better than last week, I'll say. Where we're dying of boredom a bit by the midway point, if I was to be honest. But solid racing, and that's Cody Lawrence right behind him. Coming to the line. Yeah, solid race from these guys. That's Cody Lawrence right behind him. Hopefully they're coming to the line to do some donuts. Love to end this off with some celebratory donuts. Yeah, he's lowering the gears. There we go. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks, Assetto-Corsa. Thank you. But we'll call it a day for now. That is the race over, and honestly, we won't call it a day. We'll call it a day for the session, but not for some interviews. If anyone wants to get an interview. So you just wait. If no one joins, just warning you now, I'm dragging you in. If no one joins, I'm dragging you in. You have mandatory media duties. All right, yeah. Now they're lining up. Now they're lining up Stern in the chat for interviews. Right. Well, I'm not gonna drag him into be not. Oh well, he actually did join. So yeah. So we'll start off interviews with this race winner and a new face here in Formula Trout. Dan Buttafuoco. Hello?
Hello, sorry, I had to get my push to talk button. My bad.
Oh, you're all good. Well, welcome to the interview room. Dan Buttafuoco, your name's Daniel. What do you prefer to go by?
Prefer to go by Dan.
Dan, well, obviously I've seen you in the server before, but first trout race, how was it? Obviously a win, congratulations. The test race though, not in-season race, but still very solid pace. Pretty clean besides that one fight with Raidillon. What do you have to say about your first fishy race?
Yeah, it felt really good. I was pretty surprised I qualified P2. Definitely had probably about maybe a quarter of a second in it. I think I just wasn't able to hit the lap right when it was all said and done. But still was enough for P2. And made a couple of mistakes on the initial start, in my opinion, but had really good straight line speed and had a really good strategy to make a overtaking maneuver into Lake Com, and it worked out really well. And it was a great move. I'm proud of it. And it felt really rewarding to do that, and also just to keep Dennis behind, and then to eventually break the ERS and pull away slightly on the long run was really nice. It's just in terms of the incident with Jaden, I thought I left enough room there. I didn't feel any contact personally. On my end, I didn't feel any contact. Maybe it was net code or something, but I was either way, whatever it was, unfortunate that happened. But yeah, overall, good race, good pace. I think I just need to work on my long run a little bit towards the end of the run. I think I was just struggling a bit towards the end there, and that's just something I'm gonna have to work on and find ways to get better with that. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, my goal was a podium. That would be a win for me, and just to be even fighting for the win here was more than I ever could have anticipated. So I'm just really happy about that. And I know it's not an in-season race, but just to get a win on a set of course against some really fast guys is pretty cool.
Oh, well, that's great to hear. Anything you're excited for? As this is the last test race, anything you're excited for in season? See your team, let it be a track, teammates, teams, insight.
I'll be honest, I don't even know what the calendar is. I'm just kind of wing race by race. But looking forward to working with Cody Lawrence. We'll be teammates for this upcoming season, alongside Beamer and Mark Levine. They'll be like a sister team in a way. So it'll be nice to work with them. Interested to learn more about how to be a better driver, because I'm just trying to work on my overall driving ability. I think there's a lot of things I still got to work on for this race. I think my long run, my tire wear normally has been good in other races I've done, but today was not really that good. I pretty much struggle with pace around here, so I got to figure that out. And yeah, just find ways to smoothen my inputs out and just be better prepared for whatever comes my way for the upcoming season. So it was really good to get a win, more than I ever could have anticipated. So yeah, really happy. Thank you.
Well, it's great to hear from you. You're here competing in trout. We'll move on to some other people, but again, thank you for, I guess, racing, and we'll see you when season 13 starts and we can 2 weeks time. Okay, I'm just how this race finished. Sounds very. Hello.
Evening.
So Thomas Berry, you weren't here last week for the last test race, but you're here this fall. Pretty solid race, P2 for this last test race. Season begins. Any thoughts before the season starts officially in 2 weeks? How would you do this race? Any general feeling?
I mean, general feeling is that mainly nowhere pace-wise. It lacks like 3 out of 14s everywhere on every track. So yeah, for now it's very difficult, especially also that like if you add the thing that I'm not on the pace I'd like, I wear tires way more than pretty much everyone else, especially the fronts. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, doesn't look good.
Anything you're excited for come start of the season? Really, tracks, team-wise, general.
Well, I mean, Australia should be a good race if we have a decent mode. But yeah, I should. I mean, it's not official yet, but I don't think we'll be driving with Younger GP, the main team. Staying in the Younger GP Giro, of course, but probably not in the same team. As announced already with Nico, due to my schedule stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of getting some pace now. Everything will be secondary.
Hopefully we can see you most of this. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Finished. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Felipe Olsen. Good podium for the final test. Pretty solid too. You had some and getting out the end and throughout the race. Any thoughts of how it went?
Yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with the race. I was actually surprised with how much pace I had. I thought I was about half a second off the top guys, and then turns out it wasn't quite that much. Very unfortunate and very sorry to Thomas for the incident on lap 2. It was entirely my fault. I was just didn't expect him to brake so soon, so I tried to avoid him and just ended up blocking the rear, so that caused the little crash, which then gave him damage, and I also got some rear wing damage, which made the car quite tricky to drive. But actually, other than that, I was pretty happy with the race. It was very, very fun defending from Jill and also trying to catch Thomas at the same time. So yeah, it was a lot better than the first race.
Yeah, I do have a question. Were you messing around with your ERS mode?
No, not at all. I just had them set in a way that gave me a lot of top speed, and also had the car set up in a way that I had quite decent top speed, which was like my goal. Because I always think that if you can achieve the same lap time with less downforce, then that's the way to go, because it makes it a lot easier to go racing, and that's how it turned out today as well. So that was very good.
Anything you're excited for season 13 wise, tracks, teams you're racing with in general?
Nothing in particular. Just the racing in general. I enjoyed the battles today, so hopefully more of this to come in the season.
Yeah, most definitely. Hopefully more of this to come. Pretty good battles. Very hard to battle. See you in 2 weeks' time in Bahrain. 13 starts.
Yep, probably yes.
Thank you for racing.
And thank you for streaming, man. See you.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on. Actually, I edit this in order. So 6.
Oop, hello, I thought you were gonna jack Cody in first.
Let's just swap. Oh, you're here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good race, P6. Any thoughts in general on the very, very different track?
Yeah, compared to the first race, I'm very happy that I finished, and that's honestly what my entire goal was for these first 2 test races, because before the season even started, I had never been able to even drive any of the VRC F1 cars. They never felt natural to me, and they were very difficult to drive, especially over bumps. But with the setups that have been shared in here, it got a little bit better, though I was still on edge. And for this race, I found a way to make the setup feel exactly like how I'm used to having car's feeling, though with probably a bit more power, but still, it felt like I could understand the car better than before, and that really is what I was aiming for with the test races, because this was really all just a challenge for me to even finish a race, and I did that, and I'm happy.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Anything exciting you for 13? Any info you could give us?
I will most likely be driving for a very good team with a lot of history in this league. That's all I will say, but I feel like I've already kind of spoiled where I'm racing in the Discord chat, so if you want to find out, you can just dig that up. But if it for season 13, I'm really just hoping to build on this first test where this is my baseline for where I want to be, and it's really why I really wanted to take on the Premier Series, because you probably know me from Angel from other leagues where I would be used to winning, but in this league there is a whole another kettle of fish, and there's a lot more skilled drivers, and that's really why I wanted to compete in here, because suddenly I'm not used to scoring podiums or anything, and when you're used to winning, it's all becomes less satisfying, I guess. It feels less rewarding, and there's less to be proud of. So here, where my standards are far lower, it feels like there's a lot more to gain. So I'm very excited to see what I can dig out of this season. And looking at the current calendar, there's a lot of tracks that I'm excited for.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it was great to hear. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's great to hear. I didn't know. Great to
It's
hear.
fine.
Yeah. I wouldn't know what team. If it's the one with the history, a few guesses off. I'm a little too trying to dig through the chats. But yeah, it's good. Getting confidence. You got a competitive league to fight. And you're improving as a driver. It's all good.
Yep, absolutely.
Obviously, you'll definitely improve as the season races under your belts. Yeah, so see you here in 2 weeks' time when we're at Bahrain.
Hopefully you will see me in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. See ya.
Lastly, and who I meant to put. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Hello there. Hello there. I got you.
Eddie Lawrence, P5 in this test race, last one of this season. Here at Spa, drive-through penalty kind of ruined the race there at the beginning, but you were able to make your way back up the grid to P5. No thoughts on the race?
Well, first off, congrats to Daniel Botafogo. He's a good friend of mine. Been trying to get him up to speed on AC. Finally got a win that he deserved on pace. He did a fantastic job, so happy for him. Something I'll maybe talk about a little bit later after talking about the race. But yeah, I forgot how static behavior works in CSP, and yeah, I managed to set the wrong setting, which auto rolled my car off the grid and caused the drive-through. So that was a shame. That's probably the only negative thing I'd really take from that race, though, because the car felt really good on a long run. Felt like I was maybe the fastest car at the end of the race on those threes, which was fantastic, but just too far away to do anything. I needed Thomas, Jaden, and Felipe to kind of be at arms with each other more, and they never really fought hard enough, and I couldn't quite get there. Maybe another 2-3 laps could have maybe gotten an overtake done. I don't know. Not sure. But
yeah, when I saw your drive-through, I thought you were just trying to be. I thought you found out some super ultra undercut strategy. But no, you just had a drive-through.
Yes, definitely. No. That was actually totally planned. Yep, definitely. Now, it's a shame, but I enjoyed that race anyway. That was fun trying to do something on the long run. I managed to bridge I think I bridged almost like a 15-second gap after the drive-through.
Yeah, you definitely
At the end
did.
of all the way.
You were
Car was good.
rapid.
Oh, it's great. It's just a shame I put myself in that hole, but if everything goes to plan, that will be the first and last time I get a drive-through here. So hopefully I hold that through.
Well, as this is the last test race, obviously 2 weeks time from now, we have the first race officially at Bahrain. Any excitement? Oh, you're gonna do team.
Oh, I'm really. Yep. You're connecting the dots. Yes, sir. You are connecting the dots. Plan is to run a team with Danny Botafogo, and I think he'll be doing just fine. It'll be my job to keep up with him now. I think, but I'm looking forward to it. We've got one more team planned. I think I could probably say it as well. It's going to be Mark Levine and Beamer NG or Anand Trivedi. That'll be the second team. The full info on that will come out in due course, and looking forward to sharing that. But I'm really looking forward to the season. It's going to be really fun. I think we're going to have a great time.
Well, that is great to hear from you, and yeah, I can't wait to see all you guys are super excited to see battling it out in the desert.
It's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we put on a show. I know I'm gonna try to. I've got some ideas of what to do for Bahrain. I think it'll be fun. We're gonna have a good race.
2 weeks now.
Thank you very much. Take care. Thanks for doing these streams. Appreciate it.
With that is test race is over, and now race 1 at Bahrain. Time on November the 22nd, just before Thanksgiving. Not break, Thanksgiving holiday. Or American. I don't know if you ever follow. After this race, but I'm American. I'm running the stream. Could have talked about what. So, but that's the end of this race, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time, Bahrain, on the 22nd of November. Be there for hopefully a great race.
And it's go, away we go, front of the field. Oh my goodness, and Tim Omlu goes over a tenth of a second fast.